Google just dropped Gemini 3.6 Flash, and today I'm going to push it to its limits with two real-world coding challenges. First, it has to build a premium landing page from scratch. Then, it has to create an SVG and turn it into a fully interactive 3D model. If it nails both of these challenges, this might be one of Google's best coding models yet. Let's find out. Before we jump in, let's take a quick look at the model specs. Gemini 3.6 Flash is already outperforming Google's recently released Gemini 3.5 Flash across multiple benchmarks. It comes with a 1 million token context window and supports more than 60,000 output tokens in a single response. This model is built primarily for coding, search grounding, agentic workflows, and computer use. It also supports tool calling, function calling, and multimodal inputs, making it a solid choice for developer workflows. When it comes to pricing, it costs $1.50 per million input tokens and $7.50 per million output tokens. If you want to try Gemini 3.6 Flash yourself, you'll find the link in the description. Now, let's put it to the test. In the first test, I'm going to give Gemini 3.6 Flash its high-effort reasoning mode and ask it to build a modern, premium AI SaaS landing page using nothing but HTML, CSS, and JavaScript in a single file. I'm looking for a clean and professional design, not flashy effects or unnecessary animations. Instead, I want to see great typography, proper spacing, responsive layouts, smooth interactions, and production-ready code. Once it's done, we'll evaluate the final result based on the overall design, code quality, responsiveness, animations, and whether it's actually something a real startup could use. So, let's send the prompt and see what Gemini comes up with. I'll fast forward through the generation process while it works through all the confirmations. Once it's finished, we'll take a closer look at the final result and see whether it actually delivered a production-ready landing page, or if it still needs some work. Now it's completed the task, so let's see what it actually built. Right away, I'm impressed. The landing page looks clean, modern, and genuinely premium. The hero section is really well designed, and the entire layout is fully responsive. Below that, it added a trusted partners section, followed by an interactive AI agent demo. It even included a workflow sandbox with a sample prompt. When I click Run Agent, it actually simulates the agent processing the request, complete with telemetry logs and model routing running in the background. That's a really nice touch because it makes the demo feel much more realistic. Scrolling down, we have 6 well-designed feature cards, followed by a clean pricing section. There's a free developer plan, a pro plan that's highlighted as the most popular, and an enterprise plan. It also lets you switch between monthly and yearly billing, with a $10 discount for the annual subscription. Further down, it added benchmark results, customer testimonials, and a professional-looking footer. Overall, the page feels polished and looks like something you'd expect from a real AI startup. Honestly, this is the kind of quality I'd expect from models like Claude Opus or Fable. Gemini 3.6 Flash did a surprisingly good job here. For this test, I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. If you're building landing pages or working on similar front-end tasks in your daily workflow, this model is definitely worth considering. Now, let's not waste any more time and move on to the second challenge. I'm going to ask Gemini 3.6 Flash to generate a highly detailed SVG illustration of a futuristic quadcopter drone using only pure SVG code. This isn't just about creating a good-looking vector. The SVG needs to be clean, well-structured, and detailed enough that we can convert it into a fully interactive 3D model in the next step. So, let's send the prompt and see what it comes up with.
2,000 years later.
The SVG is finally generated, and this is what Gemini 3.6 Flash came up with. Honestly, I wouldn't call it amazing. It's decent for a coding-focused model, but it's definitely not the best SVG I've seen. The overall design is okay, but the color palette really doesn't work for me, and it could have used a lot more detail. Now let's see if it can make up for that by turning this SVG into a fully interactive 3D quadcopter drone using Three.js in a single self-contained HTML file. Let's send the prompt. And if you want to try every prompt I used in this video, I'll leave them all in the description below, so be sure to check that out.
Eternity later.
Now, after fixing a few issues along the way, like the drone arms not being connected to the propellers, the model finally generated the complete 3D drone. And honestly, this is the result I was hoping for. I'm genuinely impressed. The final model looks clean. The propellers are properly attached to the arms. It added a front camera module, and overall it feels much more polished than I expected. But the best part is that it's actually interactive. Let me show you. When I click Start Drone, the propellers spin up. The drone smoothly lifts off the ground and starts hovering. Even better, I can control its movement in real time. I can fly it to the right, now to the left, move it backward, and now forward. The motion feels surprisingly natural for something generated entirely by AI. Shutting it down, you can also see the mechanics behind the scene. It built everything using Three.js in a single HTML file, complete with altitude information and live telemetry. That's pretty impressive for an AI-generated prototype. With some improved textures and graphics, you could even use something like this as a starting asset for a game or a simulation project. So here's my overall opinion. The landing page test was excellent and easily the strongest part of this model. The SVG generation itself was only average. It struggled with some of my instructions and hallucinated a few design choices, although a more detailed prompt would probably improve the result. The 3D conversion, on the other hand, completely changed my opinion. It delivered a much stronger result than I expected and reminded me of the kind of interactive outputs we're seeing from models like Kimi K3. Overall, I'm giving Gemini 3.6 Flash an 8.5 out of 10. If you're building AI agents, front-end applications, developer tools, or long-running coding projects, I think it's definitely worth trying. It's not perfect yet, but it's moving in the right direction, and with better prompting, it can produce some genuinely impressive results. That's it for this video. If you enjoyed it and want to see more real-world AI model tests like this, make sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.